Hello, and welcome to Sports by Compian. My name, of course, is Stephen Compian, joined here by some excellent gentlemen who we're going to talk about some great sports with. Dan Gill, how are you today, sir?
Fantastic. How about you, bud?
Dude, living the dream. Glad to have you back on here. One of the probably the most knowledgeable person who's ever come on Sports by Compian, so appreciate having you out here. And then, of course, we have the stellar, the ever beautiful, the fucking wonderful man himself, Christopher motherfucking Compian, sir. You are on camera for the first time here in Sports by Compian. Though the people have heard your beautiful words, now they get to see you in person, or at least over camera. What do you have to say to the world, Chris?
Hello, my darlings. I actually found a webcam in a drawer and I plugged it into a computer, and it was actually easier than I thought it would be. So here I am to grace you with my freshly done eyebrows. I went to a
Wow.
barber place, and I was the only gentleman in the establishment, and I got him done. And here we are.
Attaboy. I was
Oh
actually
yeah.
just telling Richard this like yesterday that I'm comfortable enough in my masculinity now that I could definitely probably do like somewhat of a manicure day, but like mostly I want to go to the sauna room, which I do that like every day at the gym anyway.
Tone
So
is always the move.
sauna is great, man. If free people out there who don't know about the sauna movement, it's amazing. Anyway, boys, let's hop into some sports. We had quite the weekend of sports indeed. And we started, of course, with Six Nations. Ireland and France went to battle, Chris. What a game this was. This one was something I'm not gonna lie. Didn't watch it. I forget what I was doing Saturday. Oh yeah, we were checking out property. Anyway, I did watch the highlights, and this was a tightly contested game. You saw France really, they were right in it. Dan, what'd you say? It was 19-12 or some shit like that at halftime?
Yeah, it was like 22-16. It was like a 6-point match at halftime.
6 point match at halftime, and France is just really on it. I think you get that feeling they're gonna find a way to win this. They're on a 14-game win streak. Why would they lose? But I was just telling Dan before the show, like you're seeing Ireland like really start to come into their own. I feel like in these last couple years, like I've only been watching rugby the last couple years, full disclosure. But I feel like when I was watching them maybe 2-3 years ago, they'd have games against New Zealand and stuff where like they looked like they should be the one to win, and then New Zealand would just pull out some bullshit at the end of the game and somehow ended up beating them. But now you're starting to see a Ireland team that's, I guess, been playing together for longer. Johnny Saxton got injured in this game, but the dude looks old as the hills, yet plays like an absolute champion. And they're just playing really good fucking rugby right now. So good for them getting this win. Puts them in the driver's seat to go ahead and take this whole tournament. How do you feel about this, Dan?
Yeah, no, I mean, I'm excited. I'm an old fan. We've talked about that before. So, it was a tight first half. And I mean, honestly, the defense prevailed in the back half because I think the collective score in the second half was 10-3. So, I mean, there was not a lot of room for error there. But,
Yeah.
they're finding ways to pull it out. And, France won the league last year. So, big win, especially after the summer that they had. Building off some of those big wins there. So, they're in the driver's seat, like you said. The big matchup's going to be in a couple weeks where they match up with Scotland because it looks like it might come down to those two at this point.
Man, Scotland is playing very well. That's a perfect transition for us as they just handled business against Wales. Now, this was somewhat of a close game. Like at certain points, like I would say for a good 30 minutes or so, it was close, right, Dan? And then just
Yeah, I mean,
man, it got out of hand quick for poor little Wales. Like just real quick, just the Scots were on them and they didn't let up, dude.
yeah, no, it was really the tale of two halves. The first half heading into halftime, 13-7 match, and then the final score ended up being 35-7. So, Wales got shut out in the back half, and Scotland just took off. So, yeah,
They're also playing some great rugby. Like all the whole United Kingdom. Like I guess we just get to see a lot of that rugby. That's why like I'm a little more attached to it. But you love to see Jamie
yeah,
Ritchie out there just doing his thing.
and, Wales has been struggling the last couple of years. So, what's going on? Don't know.
They got
But
that new
yeah,
coach in
it's
there
supposed
looking
to
for his
be.
first win and just catching serious L's. Chris, this guy's in there just
Yeah,
like,
he's
hey,
just
I'm trying to stamp
taking it.
me a first win, and instead they're just
You
feeding him
can't.
elbows and
How
fists.
how how many L's deep is he with no wins?
He's 0-2 now, right,
Right.
Dad?
Oh, and
Yeah, he's 0
two.
2 right now.
Yep.
I
Yeah.
mean,
It's not too bad, but it's just
Yeah.
he's going against
That's
some
not
really
a great
top tier
start.
teams right now.
Yeah.
And then we had our last game, which was yesterday. We had Italy versus England. Now, this was one that England was just absolutely demolishing the poor Italians in the first half. They did rally a little bit there in the
This
second
is
half. The
rugby,
Italians
right?
brought it to a 12-point game at one point. Sorry, what'd you say, Chris?
I said at rugby, like that was especially surprised the Italians are getting had, right?
Well,
Rugby in
it's
war? Come on. Come
every
on.
six so every 6 weeks. I mean, every year they do the Six Nations, and Italy is by far usually the weakest one of the lot. Last year they did manage to beat Wales, though. Wales is on a steady downtrot these last couple
Take
years.
that, Wales. That's a sad state of affairs.
Very sad for them.
I think it was like their first win in like what 5 years or something like
Some
that.
shit like
In Six
that.
Oof,
Nations.
They're
oof,
frisky though.
brutal.
That's one thing I'll say about the
They
Italians.
are.
Like especially that
Yeah.
guy they got back there, fullback Gabasio. The dude like knows how to find little gaps. He'd probably be a
Nice.
nightmare to
He does.
tackle, dude. A little small guy like him who just moves around. Those are the guys like as a 7, I fear tackling the most because they're so fast. Those little bastards.
Excellent, excellent.
But yeah,
Yeah,
so
no, I
they
mean, they took care of it. It was pretty much as I would say that game went as expected. England, it was
pretty
a
much.
must-win for England.
It
I
was
think.
definitely a must win for England.
Um,
They gotta get back on
so it kind of
track
keeps them alive.
because Scotland
But
beat
I
them
don't
last week, Chris.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And this
So
is a small enough
Wales,
tournament.
England, and Scotland are all different teams. I'd imagine Ireland has their own team too.
Ireland is in the drive. Is the one we were just talking about to start off. They're the ones who just beat France, who was the
Fabulous,
best team until
fabulous.
now. Until now, Dad, a new king has arisen.
Now,
All right, all
We'll see
yeah, I
if
was
these
saying my
boys can
jersey's in
finish
the other
out.
room. So, going back to I think last year when we would all get together and watch Six Nations in those mornings.
It's still
I
happening.
loved the one. I don't know, but I'm not there. So,
Yeah, sorry, buddy.
but I'm glad to see. I'm glad to see it happening.
Absolutely, it's still
But no,
going down.
I mean, I remember like we had this like one really good debate though that like the other tournament that happens that has like Georgia and all of them in it. I'm kind of in favor for whoever finishes dead last in Six Nations.
Yes. Ooh, the
It's
soccer
the winner
thing.
of that championship. Yeah, like faces the winner of the Champions League, and whoever wins that game,
Gets to
if
stay in
Italy's
the
last,
league.
they could stay in,
I
or
love it.
you get bumped up.
It
Because
makes sense.
I think that solves the fact that Italy went 5 years without a win. Might as well put someone else in there. Like I'm not a fan of going to 7 nations. Like there was a
No,
rumor of that.
although that would be a better
Or
number. Safer.
mm,
Maybe go 8.
yeah,
It does make it uneven.
but my thing is who do you pull in then? Because like if you want a quality opponent, you're going to play in the other hemisphere.
And it kind of looks like Georgia and who
South
else is kicking ass
Africa.
in that Euro League. I watched some of those highlights. Georgia absolutely demolished. I think it was poor little Germany caught it. The Netherlands and who beat the Netherlands? Fuck, we're terrible. But so I caught the highlights of a couple of these games. None of those teams look super great, other than I guess Georgia. Right? They're really probably the only ones who could compete with these big boys.
They're generally up towards the top of the table. Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
But
anyway,
I haven't looked in on that one.
that is an interesting debate and probably something they might want to consider. Either way, but we're about to find out with Italy and Wales are going to have their rematch. So I think there'll be another chance there for Italy to get another win before they get out of here, Chris. You know what I'm saying?
right.
All right, so moving on. There was also people getting kicked and punched in the face this last weekend. And that's why we brought on our absolute expert of all things UFC, Christopher Compian. Was here and watched the fight card. I assume. Did you watch it, Chris, or did you?
Yeah, actually, the gorgeous Miss Rachel graced me with her presence, and we went to this nice place in Saddlebrook and enjoyed the fight card.
Lovely.
And yeah, later on in the night, it started filling up with like 20 somethings that were there to like party and like talk to each other and dance, which was,
What? How dare they?
I know, nothing I've been involved in for a minute now, so it was kind of fun to like see the mating dance of the young.
Right. Yeah.
So that's always interesting.
It
But
is quite
anyway,
interesting, and if you're hammered, it makes
so
it even more interesting to watch it. You're just kind of like,
yeah, yeah. Well, I mean, you can't really take in as much when you're hammered. At that point, you're just like kind of trying not to fall off your stool.
True. Don't get too hammered. But so what are we saying about this this Mick game?
Yeah. So we got UFC 284 in Sydney, Australia. The Aussies came out to defend pretty well. They did fine. So on the main card, headliner, you had Volkanovski versus Makachev. Volkanovski coming in on a 12 fight winning streak, and Makachev 11. And so Volkanovski's coming up from the 145 belt to challenge the 155. Like he was really dominant at 145, like cleaned out the division. So, and was pretty much considered the pound for pound best in the world at the moment. So he figured he'd move up and challenge. And it was a great fight, dude. Fight of the night. It was incredible. Pretty much Makachev won by decision. They're calling 3 of the 5 rounds, which is all debatable. But Volk did great, dude. Volk had a hell of a night. His stock did not go down by an ounce. And the last 2.5 minutes of the 5th round was like him just putting it on Makachev, dude. It was awesome. Like just like displaying his cardio. It was incredible. Like 5th round, and he was like, there for it. It was good stuff. And Makachev had some great striking. Definitely, of course, his ground game was there for him, but Volk did great there too. Anyway, it was a great fight.
Is there controversy about the decision?
Yeah, a fight that big, there always is. Rogan came out for Volk, which is fun. I would have loved to have heard that fight companion. Anyway. Okay.
He had a fight companion?
Oh, no doubt.
I'm sure it's recorded. We could still hear it.
Oh, for sure, but
fuck yeah.
Yeah, I gotta get on the Spotify, kid. Anyway.
Did I send you my login for that?
Let's talk about it in a minute. Anyway. So it was a great fight, dude. Makachev is absolutely top notch.
So did he take his belt then? Like he's the double champion, or was that just kind of more of an exposition fight?
No. So what happened is so that leads us to our next fight, which is a nice convenient little segue. So Volk left his belt for Yair Rodriguez and Josh Emmett to fight for the interim title at 145, and they had a great fight, dude. Like Emmett's a savage, dude. He's a great athlete, and he is absolutely hardcore. But Yair is a special talent, dude. Like he is just built for fighting. Like he has the perfect frame for it. Like incredibly long limbs. He's super tough. Like Emmett cracked him, and it didn't do him that much good. Like Emmett slept a lot of guys on his way up, but Yair came up through the Central American Ultimate Fighter, dude, and he fought some like tough dudes.
Really?
Yeah, dude. Like early in his career, he absolutely wrecked BJ Penn. I don't think he was like the last one to wreck BJ Penn, because BJ Penn took a minute on his way out. That was kind of.
He was just kind of like hanging around the clothes. Are you sure, guys? I'll have another drink.
He got tagged on like his last 3 or 4. It was tough to watch. But anyway, moving on. Some dudes have a hard time finding the exit. Yeah.
They sure do, man. Especially in that fight game, it seems like they really have a hard time finding the exit.
You know why, dude? Because there's so little money in it.
Yep.
And unless
it's all you know how to do.
Unless you can like get your own gym going or maybe plug yourself in as an instructor somewhere. You know who really won at it, I think, is my man Mike Swick, dude. He was on like the second season of The Ultimate Fighter, and he was a AKA prospect, American Kickboxing Academy, and he ended up going out to
I don't know Mike
Thailand.
Swick.
Yeah, dude. He was a bad dude.
I saw that guy fight a couple fights, yeah, for sure.
Yep. He went out to Thailand, dude, and built and like established the AKA Thailand gym. It's like so cool, dude. And he just like hangs out there with like his wife and
Fuck
kid
yeah.
and like teaches classes and he's just living in Thailand like he's riding his bike with like monkeys on the back. He's like straight chilling on like nice beaches and surfing, dude. It's fucking winning.
Good for him, man.
Anyway, so that's that. Not to distract us from UFC 284.
Yeah, so moving on from 284. So Lewis and I'm assuming this guy's Lewis, and this guy looks like someone who would get in a ring with him and try to fight him. What do you have to say about those two big boys? Am I sharing
Lewis?
my screen? I'm a fucking moron. We're not sharing our screen at all, so no one even saw that whole discussion about well, like I said, getting better as we go. Anyway, moving on. So yeah, Lewis and Lewis and Savik. What's the big deal with those guys? Are you looking at the screen, Chris?
All right, hang
No,
on.
you're not up.
Are you seeing my screen or no?
I'm seeing your screen, so I see all of us.
Okay. All right. Well, hang on.
But anyway, let me just work my way down the card and talk about a couple of the fights if you
Yep,
don't
I showed
mind.
the wrong
There
one.
was some good stuff, dude.
Bam. Got it.
Oh, okay. Well. This was a previous event, but let me just talk about some of the best stuff of this event, dude.
Was it?
So
Is it this event 284?
this one here, yeah.
This is
There you go.
284, right?
Up at the top.
Okay.
Not Lewis versus Spivak,
Oh,
which
that's an upcoming one. I got you. Okay.
no, that was the last one, dude. My man Spivak
Fast.
housed fucking Derek Lewis, like ran through him, and he's a serious threat at
Here we go.
heavyweight, dude.
I got it now.
Yeah. So as I was saying, dude, Yair and
And
Emmett.
Derek Lewis.
Well,
Yeah,
well,
you're
no,
in.
don't,
You're
don't
in.
worry about.
Yeah, you got it right here. Sorry.
Yep. All right. So this was good stuff right here. Like I said, uh, Emmett was game. He was, he was trying to do his thing, and Yair was just lighting him up with these kicks, dude. He's just so dangerous with the kicks. It was just like giving him what for, and Emmett came in and like knocked him down, and Yair's like, yeah, cool. You got me on my back. Oh no, it's terrible. Oh no, you're in a triangle. What's up, buddy? You want that? No. So
Oh,
yeah, that was pretty cool. Yeah, and he like grabbed his dad's cowboy hat and put it on his head to get the belt. It was pretty cool.
nice, man. Good for him. So that's
Yeah.
the interim title he's got now. Good for him, man. I've heard of
Yeah,
Yair.
so that means he has to fight Volk though, which should be interesting because Volk's I just said, slightly earlier, Volk's a very dangerous dude. Like at 155, like he hung in there with the absolute top dog at 155, and now he's going back to 145 to because Yair has the interim title.
So he's going back there to take his belt back.
Exactly. Anyway, so yeah, great fight for Yair.
What
Happy
about this
to-
Randy Brown fellow fighting Jack over here?
Dude, that was a great fight. So everyone was like, okay, this is good. This is gonna be fast. Like whoever's gonna win, it's gonna happen fast. Dude, this is a straight up classic club and sub. My man Jack like clobbers Randy. First of all, Randy Brown's a dangerous looking dude.
He really is.
He's like
Dan, would you
all
go down to Dark
tall-
Alley if you saw Randy
Dude,
down there?
he's all tall and lanky, and he's he's a great kickboxer. He's definitely dangerous. and Jack Della Maddalena just like cracks him, dude, and he does that like Bambi on ice skanky leg, and like face plants, and Jack just follows him down and chokes him out. Classic club and sub. So that was that.
Club and sub.
Yep. He got a performance. Good for him.
Attaboy, Jack.
Oh,
Hold out for the
and then
Aussies, too.
these heavyweights, my man Justin Tafa, Parker Porter, dude. So Parker Porter, obviously, a heavyweight looking gentleman.
For sure.
Uh,
Absolutely. I was not confused
Dude.
about what division that guy was in.
Dude, 66 seconds in, he comes like dashing in all sloppy. Your boy Justin does like a little slight slip out of the way, one uppercut, and like steps back with his hands down, like, dude, not even celebrating, just like chilling, like he's in the library, just calm as you like what? And yeah, that was it. A single uppercut was the whole fight, dude.
Damn.
He didn't even break a sweat.
Wow. Interesting.
Yeah.
Tough times for Parker.
Yeah, no, absolutely. He got embarrassed.
These guys had a draw?
Yeah, dude, this fight was pretty weird. Jimmy Crute got tired after the first round. So he did fine in the first round. And then he got tired, and then Alonzo Minifield kicked his ass for a round. And then in the third round, he proceeded to kick his ass some more because Jimmy Crute was super tired. And then he got a point taken away because Jimmy Crute was like taking him down and he held defense like really blatantly. So he lost a point and it ended up being a draw, but
Ugly.
yeah, it was a mess of a fight, but
So Jimmy
yeah,
Crute
dude.
escapes with bad cardio and now knows he needs to work on it for next match. We'll see if he can. Because cardio is one of those things that you just, dude, sometimes you work your ass off on it and it still just escapes you. It's fucking wild.
Yep.
That's why Muhammad Ali was always up early running around, Dan. While me and you were sleeping, Muhammad was running.
You know what's interesting is that was remarkable back in the day because most of those guys were fucking slackers with talent. But nowadays, dude,
It's not like...
these fuckers have both.
Yeah, they're all awake. They're all like, hey, dude, I'm up at 3 running. I'm like, I know, I'm out here running too.
They're all fucking stellar athletes and they all have dedication.
Well, I mean, I was talking about this with Rich. Like, for a guy like Connor coming back into it, like, it is crazier to get motivated and get all psyched up when you're waking up on Lennon sheets and shit and millions of dollars in the bank account. Gotta imagine that hurts with the motivation a little bit.
Mm.
Anyway, we'll cover the rest of this fight maybe another time just to shorten this up a little bit. You have any particular fights in this card you want to say anything about, Rich?
Yeah, just a couple more. So this one, Josh Kulibo versus Milisik Bagdasaryan. Dude, so Milisik is like lighting him up with these like cool kicks in the first round, just like kicking the ass, including like he does this like really nice spinning back kick that like bounces off the inside of his knee and just goes right into Josh's cup. Just like a full on powerful back
kick right to the cup.
To the cup from this motherfucker that before the fight he was doing like these like splits in the locker room to limber up his fucking legs. This guy probably kicks like a mule.
Oh god.
So anyway, he takes that to the cup, gets his like ass literally kicked in the first round. Second round, this Milisik is like diving into another spinning back kick. Josh comes forward instead of eating it, dives into the pocket, jabs him in the head, knocks him down, jumps on his back, chokes him out.
Wow.
Like fucking really fast. It was sweet. And then this next one down
hops in the pocket. I love it.
Yeah, bro, stepped into it instead of away.
These guys, Shane Ross and Rodriguez?
Shane Ross, yeah. So Clarkson Rodriguez, this is his second fight in the UFC. He's like a prospect out of Brazil. There goes my fucking camera. What you doing? All right. And then our boy Shannon Ross, he's from Dana White's Contender Series.
Okay.
So the Brazilian gentleman comes in, kicks him in the liver. The other dude freezes up, as you do when you get kicked in the liver by
Right.
someone that knows how to kick really hard. And that was it. He just proceeds to punch him until the one touched him. And that was the whole fight. Like Shannon Ross with one single punch.
Oh shit, that was a minute long, that fight.
Yeah. He
Oh, it
didn't
was
get
under a
off.
minute.
Yeah, not a single punch. Neither one broke a sweat. It was yeah.
I love it.
But yeah, it was a pretty good night for the Australians, like I said. Even their top dog getting beat, he didn't get like rolled and smoked.
Yeah, Jamie won one for the Australians. Had a boy over Francisco.
Oh yeah, dude. He kicked poor Francisco's little leg in the pulp, dude. It was pretty because dude, Francisco's like really heavy on his front leg because he's like a good kickboxer, and so you gotta like plant that front leg and dig in to like throw the hard shots, right? And he's from Argentina, so as you would imagine, he's a brown gentleman. Dude, Malarkey fucking kicked that front leg so much, like you could visibly see a pile of red.
Oof.
Yeah, it was rough.
Well, any
But,
last thoughts on this year event and the people getting punched and kicked and choked
it
out?
was it was some good fights. Definitely some nice finishes, some nice knockouts. Everything you could like at a couple submissions.
Dana White was on the Pat McAfee show, and he was kind of doing damage control on that whole thing that came out with his wife. The guy kind of just owned up to it. I mean, what else are you supposed to do in that situation? But he was also talking about the slap league and how he's getting that going, man. Like, holy
Dude,
shit!
that's
That that
all he
that
can talk about. That's all he wants to talk about.
he loves
Have you
that
watched
league.
any of that?
You know what's interesting with that is it's aimed at a whole nother level of fans, I've realized. You
Yeah,
know, that's Endeavor's thing. They diversify. They represent like, Hollywood stars, sports stars, like they're all over the place. Why not diversify that too?
makes sense.
So,
Yeah,
yeah.
the slap league's wild.
Slap league is
It
wild. Do you
is,
follow it a little
dude.
bit, Dan?
No, I don't really follow it. I just see the videos every once in a while, and they're just. I mean, like I've seen it for like years before he turned it into a league, but I mean,
Well,
Jesus,
there
like,
was a lot of other leagues. Like in Russia, had
yeah.
Russia and some other ones. Yeah.
Well,
God.
I saw this video. It wasn't a slap league, but it was definitely in Russia. It was like a five v five like MMA fight.
Oh, I've
It
seen
was like
that.
the
Yeah,
Yeah.
wildest thing.
dude. Yup. Those
And
are
like you
cool.
eliminate the one guy, and it turns into like a 3-on-1. So he's just
Exactly.
getting.
Once the one crumbles, then it quickly disintegrates.
Oh
All
yeah,
right,
like, but I mean, just imagine like his slap league, like they're selling out an arena to watch people like slap
bro,
each
it's
other.
wild,
Like
but
it's gonna
like,
happen. It's gonna
I
happen.
Oh,
believe
not the
it.
arena. Oh yeah, they're going to. You're right. You're right.
They have to. Like
I
if
think
this
they
show
will.
takes off, they will. They have to.
And they're making a reality TV show out of it, just like they did with
Yeah.
Tough. They're calling it
Wow.
Yeah.
Road to the
Exactly.
Title, and they're putting these
Wow.
assholes in a hat in a house, giving them tons of alcohol. The same shit they did with
I mean, I don't have to
Tough.
be nearly as disciplined as like the fighters. I mean, you're just
They could
slapping.
just grab
No.
anyone, dude, living in a van down by the river. Be like, come on, bro, you want to get slapped for 2 grand? If you win, it's four. And it's like
And
usually whoever wins the coin toss.
Oh boy.
well, the question is, when are we gonna see you on there?
Oh. Hey,
Well, dude.
before we move on to our next topic, which of course was some football game that took place, I would like to talk to you guys about a beautiful non-sponsor sponsor of us, Martha Stewart CBD gummies.
Martha Stewart.
Martha Stewart in the game. Bro, she's in the
camera again. Look what you did.
dude. She's in the fucking TBD game. She's out here with like fucking some pretty good tasty fucking gummies actually, and yeah, she's out here doing the damn thing.
Freaking wine Snoop, and he's like, "Yo, mom." I don't know how Snoop sounds. He's like, "You should get into some CBD, girl."
But yeah, proud sponsor of Sports by Compian, Martha Stewart's CBD gummies. God bless America.
Gotta be one of the more wilder ones you've done.
You know, man, we try out here. But anyway, Kansas City Chiefs at the Philadelphia Eagles, and I don't know why I say it like that because they both met at a mutual site there in State Farm Stadium. And what transpired was actually a pretty epic game, which, is unfortunate that, everyone's going to talk about that last call, and, obviously it's certainly significant, but it was a hell of a game, dude.
So it was close then?
Oh, yeah. You can see by this final score here, 38-35, came down to the last plays.
38-35.
Last moments, man. Overall, tale of two halves, very similar to what we've seen.
Well, hold on. What's important, though, is the Eagles still don't have a Super Bowl, right?
That's incorrect. No,
they do.
They won.
They do.
Yeah, they won. They won like a couple. They won like 2017-18. Do you remember?
It was like 5 years.
Remember Big Dick Nick? Big Dick Nick.
That's right. Nick.
The old Philly special.
That's right.
Yep.
So they've got the one then, right?
They got the one, yeah. But they have been quite relevant. Like the last 7 years now, they've been to 2 Super Bowls. So when they get hot, These guys.
Philly gets nice things.
I know. They were already getting excited.
I saw this thing that said Philly has lost 3 championship games in the last 99 days. The Phillies lost in the World Series. Their MLS team lost in the finals, and now the Eagles.
Oof.
So literally in the last couple months, all through 3 of their 5 teams have all lost in the finals.
Damn.
You know what? I even like Philly, but I hate it when their sports fans are happy.
I've had a lot of them get into random pits with you, Chris, there in Philadelphia. Although I don't know how many Philly pits you've been in lately. It's a little far for you to go.
Yeah, I know. They tend to be New York ones these days.
Plus, I feel like my pitting days just kind of over, I got to reserve all my hits for rugby. Can't be taking off-field hits,
I mean,
unsolicited.
It's really not that rough. Although I heard the Amon Amarth pits were pretty rough this last tour, but I wasn't involved. I was off in Costa Rica. But, yeah.
I was involved. Don't worry, dude. They're coming back. They're coming right back for another tour. Those guys never stop touring. As you can see in the background there, they're a proud sponsor of Christopher Compian himself, actually. They send him a weekly check.
That's right.
But anyway, so yeah, getting back to this year football game. So it was a tale of two halves, I think. Obviously Philadelphia came out and it was like the commentators talked about this. Like, I wonder why they deferred to them and gave Philly the ball first, because they've been lethal lately with when they get the ball first, they score and they stay ahead the whole game. It's pretty much their strategy. And so the Chiefs are giving them a chance to do that, and they did just that. They scored. The Chiefs responded with another score, but after that, it just started tanking Philly's way. A lot of Jalen Hurts just looked unstoppable. He was moving that offense. They got so many studs on that offensive side. AJ Brown looked great. Devontae Smith had a big game. And they're dominating that first half. And the time of possession, of course, is what everyone's going to talk about. It is the key. They kept Patrick Mahomes off the field. And he came on for a couple. The Philly defense looked like they knew what they were doing. Very different story in that second half with that Philly defense. Gave up 24 points, I want to say.
Yeah, it was 24, but backing up to the first half there, I think the one key thing that, probably doesn't get overlooked, but I haven't really heard a lot of people talking about it. The Eagles were dominating the first half.
Yeah.
But that defensive touchdown the Chiefs got really proved to try to save them.
Yep.
Because I think if that doesn't happen, they go down 21-7, maybe into halftime, or 24-7 into halftime. it's completely different. You know, we have a
You're not
completely
wrong.
different
That
story here.
defensive touchdown was huge for them, and it was on a fumble from Jalen Hurts, just some kind of bobble. I forget the exact measures of it, but
Yeah, it was a QB. Yeah, they messed up a QB draw and it got away from him, and
also, but
there's
like
no one there to clean it up.
this is jumping ahead a little bit, but how many QB sneaks do we see for 1 yard? It's incredible what that
That was
Eagles
them all
offensive line
season.
is doing is incredible.
They in the regular season they had a 92% success rate.
Yep.
Like,
It,
and
it's
that's the part. They
it's
made
a
a
play that
comment during
can't
the
be
game.
stopped. Really, it seems like.
Well, no, exactly. I mean,
I was
they
watching a
talked about it during
replay.
the game.
Sorry,
It was
real
like
quick.
everyone knew.
I was watching this replay, and you literally saw like big Chiefs players, Chris. These guys are like ganging on 300 pounds, probably 300 pounds, and they were on the ground getting pushed, much like if it was a sack of potatoes that you were just pushing on the ground.
Yeah.
Just this Philly O-line is insane, dude. They were just literally moving these guys who were already on the ground and just getting pushed further away. Like, stop. We're coming through here. Our guy, he has the ball. He's got places to be, and you are in the way, sir. It was really masterful. Sorry, what were you saying, Dan? And Chris, I was well.
No, well, no, I was gonna say real fast. Like, they noted on it during the game. It was like everybody knew it was coming. They just can't stop it. It's like
It's crazy.
it's just how effective it was.
They did
Like,
say that.
it's like what do you do when you know it's coming but you can't do anything about it? And what are you just trying to make sure he only gets the 1 yard? He doesn't break free. You know, something, I don't know. Although one thing I do find funny, and this is a sidetrack, but it came up last night. Every time they go and do these like 4th and 1s, I love when they say, you know, it's a scrum, and I'm like, oh, it's really a maul, but
Yeah.
you know,
You're right, dude. I didn't even catch that, Dan. Damn. But I did catch that little comment.
They do love calling it a scrum, and I'm like, well, not really, but okay. But no, I mean, I think that, you know, that defensive touchdown in the first half for the Chiefs, I don't want to say saved the game, but it definitely prevented the momentum. Sure.
But then, dude, halftime came, Chris, and they just injected maybe the future GOAT, dude. This kid, I swear, I feel like watching Patrick Mahomes, it's like watching somebody play Madden. And he's like the quarterback and like playing his all-star life, and maybe he's the main character of this whole simulation. But no bullshit, dude. Sometimes you're watching this kid and you're just like, how, bro? You have this high ankle sprain, supposedly, which I'm sure they fucking stabbed all kinds of shit into that at halftime and gave him all kinds of shit to make him not feel that. But, dude, my man gets out there and just wills his team to victory. Like, every one of those drives was crazy, dude. He just drove down, did exactly what he needed to do.
The way Brady used to do, dude.
Bro,
Brady used to just be unfucking stoppable when he wanted to get somewhere.
The kid has been to, what is this, 5 AFC championships in a row. Is that right, Dan? And he's been to 3 Super Bowls in the last 4 years. Like, what?
Nice.
Yeah, I mean, not to take anything away from their offense, they were phenomenal in that second half. But I mean, I was watching the game with a bunch of Eagles fans in the Eagle household, so that was fun. But they even noted it was like the defense abandoned whatever plan they had in the first half. Like they, you know, in the first half you saw more. I don't know if they abandoned it or
it didn't work, but whatever it was.
But I feel like they had more 5 guys up front than, you know, doing 4 or 3 man lines. So I think they, like, to a degree, changed their schemes, and there was just so much lack of communication in that secondary. There's 2 of those touchdowns in the fourth quarter, the one to Tony and the one to Moore, I believe. Mm-hmm. They let the one to Tony. Slay followed him on the adjustment, and he just stopped moving. Like, the wide receiver stopped moving, and Slay never realized that he didn't finish the audible across the field. So you have a wide receiver on the far end by himself on cover.
That's crazy.
And then they basically did the same thing with Moore again.
The exact same
where
play.
He did a delay block out of the backfield, and there was no one spying on him on the outside to make sure they didn't break containment.
There was a lot of, and like, where was that D-line? Like, as a D-lineman, I was like, where the fuck is the pressure, dude? They just could not get to Mahomes. And like, Orlando Brown rightfully talked some shit afterwards, because everyone was talking about this Eagles O line. Nobody was, and like calling this Philly defensive line, Chris. They're calling them historic, dude. They're comparing them to like the 85 Bears. I mean, they put up 70 sacks in this year. You know, Hassan Redditt was just coming alive in the playoffs and just really dominating. So coming into this game, everyone was like,
Wait,
dude, this
his last name is Reddit?
Hassan Redditt. Am I saying that right?
Is it spelled
Dan?
the same, like
No, it's not.
Reddit?
No. He spells it
No,
differently.
it's not like the troll
And
Reddit.
he came from the Panthers,
That's
right?
not
That's
as
where he kind of first
fun.
made a name for himself, was with the Panthers.
Yeah.
So either way, this D line, like
Right.
people were saying, was amazing, and dude, they were nowhere to be found this second half, and like it's just tough against Patrick. Patrick gets the ball out quick, and not really. He actually hangs onto the ball a decent amount, but he's so hard to sack. But there was just not that much pressure in general. They just could not get through there. So shout out to that fucking KC line. Like Orlando Brown was like 0 sacks. Put that on a shirt. Like they were talking some shit because everyone was picking the Eagles for this game. Everyone was picking the Eagles, myself included. I won money line on Eagles, but still made some good money. Most of my bets went through, other than Patrick Mahomes not hitting 225 yards. Like why would you not do that, Patty? But you know, hell of a game for the guy. Yeah, definitely shout out to the Chiefs defense though. At certain points, made the stops they had to get the ball back, and you know they made that stop that led to that big punt return by Tooney. And I have talked piles of shit about Kayvon Tooney. We'll stick to it. He's just kind of ugly, Chris. So you know I don't really like him. It's not because of his looks exclusive. It's not only his looks. I think anyway. He had a hell of a punt return, and then like basically he got the touchdown that drive, didn't he? Like a couple plays later, they found him wide open, the play that Dan was just talking about. So he had a good little momentum turn there for them. I think that was pretty pivotal too. But yeah.
Yeah, man. So thoughts on that penalty? Because you knew this was coming.
Right. So I personally, as a defensive guy, I didn't think it was much, and I would have seen it let it go. I was even wondering if that was within 5 yards. I didn't think it probably wasn't. But Bradbury came out and owned it, and like I think that was so cool just to see him come out and be like, "Fuck." He's like, "Yeah, I definitely did that. I was just kind of hoping they'd let it go because they were letting it go the whole game." So like, fuck.
Well,
man.
no, like,
but
that's what gets me. Like,
you were letting it go the whole game.
It's like,
it was the first
how can
defensive
you throw
holding
that flag at that point?
Right. I mean,
like if you haven't called it all day, be consistent.
I think if you're gonna start it, you should have called it the first time when Bradbury had that same thing, which you just earlier in the game. I thought that one was much more egregious, and they didn't call that one. So it's like if you're not gonna call that one, don't do a makeup call on the most important call of the game. But you know,
well, it's 2 years in a row now that the last drive of the game was dictated by a questionable call that hadn't been called all game, and it basically
that's a good point.
Gave the team the win. But the other part that bothered me was the wide receivers running at the back judge in the back corner of the end zone. How can he see his back getting pulled, like the jersey? Like he was the one that launched the flag. Because he didn't have hands on him when he cut back across. I can get how he could have seen that when he cut across. But like all the videos show him going up the field towards the corner of the end zone. And they always pinpoint where his hands on his back. So how's the back judge going to see that?
You know, we could sit here and debate this for hours, but I think it comes down to what I've seen from the limited interaction I've seen. The Philly fans aren't blaming this on one play or Bradbury. No. You know, most of them are saying this is bullshit. Our defense fell apart. They're blaming the defensive coordinator. They want heads to roll, and I don't know how serious it is over there with Gannon. It seems like he had a good year. I mean, his D line got 70 sacks. Like, dude, he can't be that bad. But what do I know about the situation? I didn't watch it.
Well, yeah, no, but I mean, like I said before, it was if you want to like pinpoint the two things, it was just the lack of communication in that secondary that cost them 14 points.
For sure,
there's kind of your game.
Absolutely, that and like also just throughout the whole game. Like you were saying with those two calls, it's the whole game, dude. You gave up 35. You gave up 38 points. Like, you got to be better. You can't leave it in the hands of the refs. But Christopher, what do you have to say about this? You didn't know the Super Bowl was happening, or you did and chose not to watch it? Regardless.
No, listen. I knew the Super Bowl was happening.
Right.
I don't have live TV.
Oh,
I
okay, of
only have
course.
streaming services.
Which you weren't going to
Plus,
stream the Super Bowl because you don't care that much.
yeah. Also, I was over at my girlfriend's place, and she just adopted a new dog, and so the most important thing was adjusting Loki with her new dog and stuff.
Busy
And
man.
yeah, we're aware of the Super Bowl, but there was also this pup bowl they do where they have puppies divided into two teams, and yeah, they have them run back and forth with balls and toys and whatnot. I actually left just as that was about to happen, but they're like shelter pups, so it's like a big adopt event, and usually these puppies obviously get adopted after they appear on TV. So that's a nice thing. But yeah, something I wasn't aware of is pup bowl.
Pup Bowl, dude, that's brilliant.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
actually a great little marketing move. I love that.
yeah, dude, it gets
I mean, they've
dogs
been doing it
adopted.
for a while.
Yeah,
So,
exactly. It was the 19th one.
Yeah.
Dan, any last thoughts here on the Chiefs being Super Bowl champions here to wrap up the 22-23 season?
Just gonna avoid social media for a couple days.
Oh, yeah? I don't
No,
know, man.
like this, like we said, kind of heading into the season, people are kind of throwing around, are they going to be the next dynasty that we see?
Right.
I think they made their case. I think they made their case,
Sure did.
so they'll be around.
They're going to be around, man. Anyone in the AFC knows they're going to have to come through Kansas City probably, which I'm still sticking to my trade. I love Joe Cool. He doesn't seem too worried about it. He's like, all right, Mahomes, you got me this time. I'll be back.
How many Super Bowls do the Chiefs have now?
This 3 overall, but this is 2 in the Patty Mahomes era.
Oh wow, dude.
He's already 2-1 in the Super Bowl. This guy.
Wow.
Oh yeah, who beat him? Dan, what was that game? Was that
Wasn't that
Roll
Brady?
one.
that was Brady, wasn't it? Yeah, and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Yeah. You know what's funny about that one, Dan? I don't think they really even scored a touchdown.
No.
That's really the best way to beat Patrick Mahomes is just to whenever he has the ball, chase him around, try to beat him up, make him really uncomfortable. Like the Bucks did. I don't know why
Beat
you
him
wouldn't
up.
do that. Yeah, weird. But anyway,
Beat,
No, not
beat
like
them
that.
is always the right move.
wrap it up here on this lovely Monday. To finish off the post Super Bowl, going into something as beautiful as this, because guys, I know our Sports by Compian fans are worried. They're like, what will we be covering? The NFL's gone. But don't worry. If you've been with us for almost a year that we've been doing this podcast, we started with Six Nations. There's something coming called the USFL is in bounds. The MLR is inbound. And guess what? Next weekend, Chris? The Rock has re-resurrected the XFL. They're back for season 2.
Nice.
So that makes 2 football leagues, Dan, that are going into their second year. The XFL with an asterisk, but regardless, year 2 for both these leagues. Spring football is upon us, baby. I love to see it.
You know what,
Yeah,
dude?
the nice
Hey,
part is,
sorry,
so
go
the
ahead.
nice part is by the time the XFL ends, that's when the USFL basically starts. So we got like a nice long stretch of summer football
I love it, man.
through June.
It's gonna be so good for us. Lots of finally some football to watch in this spring summer. What were you saying, Chris?
Yeah,
What I was going to say is, as you gentlemen just pointed out, is the market's there for it. Nowadays, with streaming and so many revenues to distribute it, they can make it happen. I think maybe the first time around with the XFL, the only paths were regular channel
That's a great
television,
point. Yeah.
and that was too expensive. They couldn't quite make those numbers happen. Plus, nowadays, someone with the personal clout of The Rock, Dwayne Johnson, he can carry a league and really launch it.
Yeah, dude.
Whereas,
well,
It's absolutely, absolutely.
I do feel though like there's a great 30 for 30 on the first XFL. Actually, I highly recommend if you guys have never watched it, you should watch
I
it.
don't
There's
think I
also one on
have.
the
I'm definitely gonna check that out.
USFL, on the USFL as well. But I would say the first one was. I mean, yes, the viewership was terrible, but I don't think it was a lack of channel. It's because I would say Vince McMahon was too worried about trying to make it like WWF, WWE.
Yeah,
Some of
them
his
all
guys
mic'd up
were,
and shit,
yeah,
right? And they
all the
had
players
like
were mic'd
their
up.
own names on their back, like he
Yeah,
hate me
he
and
hate
weird
me.
shit.
And then, of course, like all, The Rock, Stone Cold, Triple H, like those guys were on there, like randomly show up on the broadcast and stuff. So there was a lot of cross, like, promotion.
Yeah.
Right.
I think it just got too hokey for people to really buy into, which
Okay.
is a shame. Uh, and I think when he brought it back, he did it at the right time of, like, not, like, keeping the two entities separate,
Yeah.
that it's not going to be this. And again, I mean, there's a lot of good that's came out of this already. In terms of rules and how they review things, and I think the NFL's still looking at it. So I'm excited about that. I love their virtual ref or whatever you want to call it that sits up in the booth. They can throw the virtual penalty flag. I don't know why the NFL hasn't picked that up yet. I mean, we've talked about that in other shows, but
It'd be nice to
I
see.
think I think we're in a good stretch here.
Well, what I love to see about this is now there's 2 leagues means there's like another 8 teams all employing coaches and players getting paid a decent
There's
amount of money,
plenty
I'm
of
sure.
players. It used to be like if you couldn't make it in the
Exactly.
NFL, you had to go play for the Canadians.
And it's
Or
mostly
like
young
even the
guys getting
Europeans.
their
Wasn't
chance.
there even a European league? You
There
could go
was. We
make
talked
like
about
you could go
that.
get like €3 a year.
Yeah, we talked about that on one of the other podcasts. NFL Europe was a thing. And it's cool to see, man. These guys are getting a chance to continue their dream. A lot of them are young enough that maybe just develop them, and they can possibly play in the NFL.
Exactly,
We saw it
dude.
with that
Like,
receiver from the NFL, the Cowboys. Corey talks about him all the time. What's his name?
Yeah, there was a Turpin.
Chipley.
Turpin. Yeah, Turpin.
Oh wait, Chipley
Well,
wasn't on
and
the Cowboys.
the first XFL produced Taylor Heineke for the Commanders, not Redskins.
Oh, right,
But
yeah.
yeah,
No, those
and
been some
then
success guys,
PJ Walker went to the Panthers.
right?
So both of those guys came out of the XFL. So I mean, it's got its merit, it's got its values.
And
I
let's
mean,
have a look
with
at these
football basically
prices.
not having a minor leagues, it's worth it, right?
I would say so. And all right, so they're already giving you 20% off on the home openers. Let's see what tickets are like. None of these people are close to me. I think the closest people are these guys, Battlehawks.
Oh,
The Battlehawks, Christopher.
that's right. St. Louis.
Let's see what they're going for. They're going for. Let's check out these ones. Cool. Dude, $24. 36,
Yeah, no,
50,
like
60,
they're
80.
very.
You could pay like 200. All right, so 200 will get you like right on the field, the best seats
Dude,
possible.
any live event's a good time to bring a girl. Like she's like, "Hey, Spurs, I don't want to watch it on TV," but she'll go to that. And She'll have a
Absolutely,
good time.
she'll be happy as hell. Yeah, so
Absolutely.
I think it's a good time, man. Maybe I'll go see
No, I
an
think
XFL game.
the USFL is the same way. Their tickets are very affordable. There's no reason to not go. I will be at the Defenders home opener on the 19th of February.
That's this
It
one
will
right
be
here,
on
right?
ESPN.
Against Seattle.
Yeah. Yes, Josh Gordon plays for Seattle.
Really?
So he's trying to, yes, he does. He's trying to make his comeback there, I guess. I mean,
Oh,
there
I don't
are
know
a
if he's
handful
making a
of big
comeback.
names in there.
Maybe just making some bucks on the way out. He's one of those guys, Chris, who could have been one of the best receivers ever, but just could not get away from the weed at a time the NFL was not tolerating weed.
Oh yeah, yes.
We're off the lead.
I appreciate that. But speaking of making a few bucks on the way out, give me just like 20 seconds when you guys are done with football.
All right, cool. Yeah. So yeah, you'll be at that game, Dan. Excellent. The Battlehawks are starting off on the road against San Antonio, Houston Roughnecks. So they've changed a lot of these names because I remember some of these guys from last year, like Brahmas. I'm not sure I remember.
Wait.
Yeah,
Did they go back with Houston? Well,
so the new
related, right?
so the new one the new ones are the Tampa Bay moved to Vegas, so it's the Vegas Vipers.
Oh, okay.
They were the Tampa Vipers,
Gotcha.
and then the New York Guardians moved to Orlando, and then the
Okay.
Arlington Renegades was the Dallas Renegades, but they played in Arlington. I read an article that said that it was a part of an ask by like the Welcome Arlington Committee to help tourism to Arlington. So yeah, the new one though is San Antonio. They replaced the Los Angeles team. I can't remember their name right now, but then the Defenders and the Dragons were already in there too. Same with St. Louis. I think the San Antonio ad was smart because if you guys remember the AAF, the AAF had a team in San Antonio actually called the Commanders. Oddly enough,
Are you over there thinking about it, Chris?
but they
I was pretending to.
that's okay. But no, they were just so successful on there. They had great attendance. So I think it was smart for them to get a team in San Antonio.
I actually, even as a Tampa Bay Vipers fan, I like all these moves because I don't understand why some cities get oversaturated with teams, dude. It's crazy. Tampa Bay will have like 500 teams, and it's like, why are we over here fighting for every sports fan when you could go out to like one of these bigger cities out in like the Midwest or just states in general that do not have football teams, do not have big sports teams, and it's like give these guys a chance to come show up and support a team, man. It's like, why wouldn't you?
Yeah, I mean, it's the same reason why I love that they put a team in St. Louis. Like, great football market, even though they've lost a team twice, it's still a good football market.
Dude, like I would drive down there for a weekend. I bet that'd be fun. That's like a
That's like
a seven.
They played the old Rams Dome.
Oh, the old St. Louis Dome.
Yeah, that's where they play. Yeah.
Huh. All right, well, should be an interesting season of XFL. I love how they're starting right after the Super Bowl, so there's literally no break from our football addiction, Christopher. But
so what? No one cares about the Pro Bowl anymore?
Oh, the Pro Bowl already happened before the Super Bowl.
What?
Yeah, they moved it. And it was flag football.
It was flag football.
That's right. It's flag football now? That's
literally not worth watching anymore, Chris. But, you know, what I like about the Pro Bowl is that these guys are making a little bit of extra money and they're getting recognized. Other than that, I could give a flying fuck what they do now. I haven't watched it in the last couple of years.
Dude, it was a joke game when they were wearing pads.
Exactly. It was ridiculous.
I remember when they were wearing pads, dude. They gave zero fucks.
The only one who ever would care was like... The only one who ever cared was like Sean Taylor would come through and like destroy a punter. There's a couple. That's on his highlight tapes now. But other than that, nobody ever gave a fuck about him, dude. You know?
Dude, they were hanging out. They were in Hawaii for a good time.
And you know what? They deserve it. And on the NFL dime, no less. On the NFL dime is how it should be.
Exactly. But I guess the NFL was tired of seeing them fuck around with actual pads on. They're like, all right. Whatever, dude. You're famous. Let's at least have your helmet off.
Right, exactly. And they're out there doing stuff. They're building their brand. They're building the NFL brand. I'm not mad at it. I'm just not going to watch it. Like, I'm not going to watch... I might. You know, if I'm in the right situation, I'm not going to be mad if it's on. But, like, for the most part, I'm not going to try to...
I bet it's popular with the younglings.
Like, oh, yeah. Because they love... a lot. Flag football is pretty big. It has a pretty big market, actually.
Yeah. See, you're like in Pee Wee, you get to see like your favorite players run around without pads and helmets. That's fun.
Yeah. All right, well, guys, you wanted to say something.
Yeah, real quick. So, Fedor, the last emperor, dude, he just retired, not last weekend, but the one before. He got his ass handed to him by Ryan Bader, dude. Like, first of all, it's ridiculous that he was fighting Ryan Bader again. Ryan Bader kicked his ass the first time. And they set up another fight, and Fedor didn't throw a single punch. Ryan Bader threw a total of 5 punches. He did 2 jabs that didn't connect. The third jab knocked Fedor on his ass, and then Ryan threw a right hand into his chin, and that was over. And then he did 2 more little hammer punches that like weren't really necessary, but were involved. So yeah, and the last emperor is done. Yep. And with him, dude, that's the last of the Pride fighters retired.
Wow.
Because shortly before him, Shogun retired.
Sorry, so that was Fedor?
Fedor Emelianenko, dude, the last fucking emperor.
I love how they're called emperors. That's cool.
Well, because he's Russian.
Right.
But dude, he fought some badasses back in Pride when like they weren't testing motherfuckers, and everyone was all juiced up, dude.
Your man
Like
was in there,
fucking
huh?
Mark Coleman, Gary Goodwich, Crow Cop, all these motherfuckers were sauce, dude. And Fedor, I'm not saying he wasn't, but he was in there. He didn't look like he was.
Good old Fedor, man. Good for him.
Yeah, dude. Like Kevin
I hope
Randleman,
he has a good retirement. Doesn't like need to. I mean, he was.
he doesn't need you, dude. In Russia, they take care of their own. Plus, like he's like Putin's like buddy.
Oh,
He'll
sweet.
be
Okay,
fine.
cool. All right, good
He'll
deal.
be fine. Yeah, no, he'll be fine. But like, dude, his coolest fight for me at least is the one where Kevin Randleman suplexes him onto his head like the gnarliest suplex you'll ever fucking see, dude. And Fedor just kind of like spins out of it, comes around and Kimuras him. It was incredible. But yeah.
The last of the emperors has retired, huh?
Yep, the last emperor is retired, so Pride is definitely officially dead.
Well, Dan, any parting words for the people about this year weekend that we had of some fantastic sports?
I mean, like we said, it's not ending. We got summer football. We'll get
Six
ready.
Nations is going. Guess what's coming this year, Chris? Rugby World Cup, baby.
Nice.
I'm actually pretty excited, dude. This is going to be a pretty good World Cup. I think there's more than a couple teams that could win it. We're going to see some fucking fine-ass rugby this World Cup.
So hang on. Is it national teams?
Yeah, dude.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
so theoretically, New Zealand will have a bunch of dudes from the All Blacks.
They are called the All Blacks. Yeah, that's what their
They're called
national
the
team
All
is
That's
called.
that's the national team.
That's their
their
national
national
team,
all
yeah.
right. You poor bastards. They're all fucked then.
They've been showing a lot of chinks in the armor, and I don't even think they won. They didn't even win last year. Last year, South Africa won, so
No, they
South
didn't.
Africa are the
Yeah.
defending champions.
South Africa.
No, not last year. It was 4 years ago, but that's that's who won.
And then, I mean, Japan, I think, is on the uptick. Like, they played really well in that World Cup.
They sure did. I mean, they got a mountain to climb, but they sure have been looking a lot better against top tier countries.
No, for sure.
Good for
But, I
them.
mean, right now,
Breaking into the rugby world, the soccer world, like they didn't embarrass themselves in this past World Cup.
Costa Rica pulled off a win against them. Good for them.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, you're not
Yeah.
wrong. They did beat Germany, but yeah, Costa Rica snatched out a win just to make sure they didn't lose all their games. So I'm pretty proud of Costa Rica for that. I was talking to the Costa Ricans. They're pissed though. They want the heads of all the older dudes. They're like, get the young generation in there. We're sick of this shit. So we'll see what happens. That's what at least one taxi guy told me. So. I'm not sure. I'm not sure. Did I ask any? No. I asked at least 2 Uber people who both were in favor of heads rolling and new.
Well,
Apparently, they're still rolling with guys like Brian Reese and or Grease, whatever his name is. Dude, I remember when this dude was like super. Like I was like very young. I forget how old, but this dude was like apparently just hitting the scene, really good enough to be playing in Europe too. So what I'm saying is, I remember when he was young. Which was a long time ago.
Yeah, right.
And he's still apparently like one of their better players. Like, shit, man, what's going on here?
Amazing.
So anyway, sidetrack on soccer, which we don't really talk about around here. And of course there'll be hockey, which we'll try to get a little bit more intel on.
It's sports. We gotta cover all the shit. We got into night fighting. We might as well do soccer too.
I might even be covering some Ice Hawks games, here on the home front. We might go see some Blackhawks games, which I hear they're terrible.
I'm gonna research disc throwing and plague you fucks with that.
Hell yeah, dude. And the fight game never ends, does it, Chris?
No, there's so much fighting. And you know what, dude? This slap league thing, we might have to cover it whether we like it or not, even though it's not for us.
Stop. Let's not cover it. If you don't want to cover it, I don't really want to cover it. Fuck that league. We'll cover all the millions of other weird fight stuff that's going on out there in the world. But anyway, before we wrap this up, boys, I did want to show you guys a little quote from this one book I'm reading. Way of the Peaceful Warrior by Dan Millman.
Nice, I like it.
This book has been pretty damn good, let me tell you. But anyway, we're going to read a random quote here from the Socrates, which is kind of the teacher guy. So it goes, moderation. And he leaped up on the desk. Moderation, ? Like, because he was asking him, like, shouldn't you have moderation? He's like, moderation? Leaped up on the desk. Moderation It's mediocrity, fear, and confusion in the disgust. In the disguise, it's the devil's dilemma. It's neither doing nor not doing. It's the wobbling compromise that makes no one happy. Moderation is for the bland, for the apologetic, for the force-setters of the world afraid to take a stand. It's for those afraid to laugh or cry, for those afraid to live or die. Moderation, he took a deep breath getting ready for his final condemnation, is lukewarm tea, and it's the fucking devil's brew. Sports by Compian. Out.